Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Being a people pleaser, if those people are my children, is my full-time job.
What fresh hell.
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
You just want this to be over, and sometimes you smile even though you don't want to.
With Margaret Abels
and Amy Wilson.
The email about the bridesmaids' dresses is one of 4,000 thoughts of the day that someone had.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
Everything that everybody asks you to do is equally important to everything else everybody has asked you to do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy. Today, I want to talk about something else that has come up over and over again as I've been doing the book tour and all the interviews for Happy to Help, Adventures of a People Pleaser. I don't know if you've heard of it.
It's a new book. You should get it. You should have it.
By me. You have it already. It's dog-eared. But the subtitle of the book is Adventures of a People Pleaser. And I'm just going to say subtitles of books are group decisions. They are not just like titles of articles and magazines and newspapers. The reporter doesn't write them. Titles and subtitles of books are very much a group decision. And so people pleasers on the cover of my book, and it is something that is therefore very much a part of every conversation. Is like, how do you stop being such a people pleaser all the time? And I've come to have thoughts about it. I've come to have thoughts about the term, the word, what it means when we tell women that they're people pleasers. And so I wanted to talk about it today.
Yeah, I like this topic, and raising a daughter, this comes up for me a lot, like the people-pleasing aspect of life. And are we leaning in? Are we leaning out? Are we figuring out how to tell our daughters to be nice or to be kind? And is that different? And how are we having this discussion? And what does it mean to be a people pleaser?
Right. And I think it's one of these things where we really throw around and over-apply the word without really getting into what it means. It means different things to different people.
For sure. And it's one of those words that has a positive connotation, but is only used negatively.
Yes,
so
for
that
sure.
also
Yes.
makes it interesting. Like, a people pleaser sounds like a good thing. Like, you are pleasing to people, but it is only used to be like, what a people pleaser, loser.
And it's almost always used about women, which is another problem. You don't usually hear men applying it to themselves. There was a study recently that found that 55% of women copped to being a people pleaser, basically, but only 40% of men did. And again, I don't think that proves anything other than that women are called people pleasers much more often than men. Not that.
Yeah.
And because we are taught to put other people. Well, here I go. I'm on my soapbox, but I think we should go back. And
It's going to be a soapbox episode. People lean in.
So the simplest definition of people pleasing, which like the first person who used this was in the 1550s. This word's been around for a while.
Wow.
And
Guys like, I've got bubonic plague and I'm a people pleaser.
which is not, as it turns out, a people pleaser. So it's like the simplest definition is someone or something that makes people happy or wants to make people happy. Like pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving is a people pleaser. Like that, everybody's happy to see that come out. We don't really use it that way anymore, but that's kind of what it means.
Does it have an aspect that it is somehow at your own expense? Like, I think that that's a weird part of it that's not in that definition.
Well, no, it's not. There's a bunch of different definitions and like the presumptions get heavier and heavier. I don't think we say pumpkin pie is a real people pleaser. I'm not saying that that's what we think it means, but that's at its simplest thing. It's somebody who does things that makes other people happy. That's literally pro-social behavior, what we teach our kids to do. Like, you don't tell your friend you don't like their haircut because that's not nice. You want to do and say things that make other people happy. It's just like living in the world is people-pleasing behavior to some extent.
Right.
And doing things that are good for other people is altruism. Like, these are all ostensibly very positive things to have or be.
To aspire to. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sounds good so far.
And then the other most common definition is putting other people's wants and needs before your own. Okay, now that's getting a little too, that's tricky.
Right.
But again, isn't that everything you've done every day for about the past 17 years?
Right. Being a people pleaser, if those people are my children, is my full-time job.
Is your full-time job.
Right.
Literally.
I don't want to be at the pumpkin patch, but here I am.
Or even the day you became pregnant, you were putting somebody else's wants and needs before your own, right? Like, no blue cheese for me, thanks. I'm a people pleaser.
I'm a baby
pregnant.
pleaser.
Right. Right. So all these things are like, nothing's wrong with that. That's literally the assignment. That's how it goes.
Yep.
And I think telling people that they should stop pleasing the people around them or their own families would be bonkers. So we don't mean that, or do we? But let me get into the things that I think people might actually mean when they say people pleaser. They're a little more specific. So one of them is fawning.
I just have heard this. Fight, flight, or fawn.
Yeah. So it's like one of your animalistic lizard brain type of responses, right? When you're encountered with a predator that you might fight. If it's a manatee, Margaret would fight the manatee.
Yeah, I would fight it. I would fight it with my bare hands. And let's be honest, I would win.
If it was a raccoon flight, I'd run. I'd run because you've helped me understand that I wouldn't win that fight.
If it was a wolf, my brother-in-law would kill it with his bare hands, apparently.
And then there's fawn. There's something in the middle, which is what literally fawns do, which is let me just pretend I'm not here, right? You just kind of go away and dissociate and freeze. And I guess you could call it freeze, but they call it fawn because it is a response in which you're seeking to merge with the wishes of others. So it's a thing. It's a response to complex trauma. It's pretty specific. I think you wouldn't say that mom who signs up for too many parents association committees is fawning. Like, that's not what you mean. But I think we kind of do. We kind of like, stop doing that. Stop needing the approval of other people. Then there's sociotropy. That's the word that Dr. Aaron Beck, who I found out today, invented CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So yeah, smart
Dr.
person.
Beck
calls this sociotropy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Like philanthropy. Maybe it's sociotropy.
Who knows? Let's get Aaron Beck on the phone.
Dr. Beck. I should have listened to a pronunciation.
Dr. Beck, you're busy curing people, but quickly.
I'm going to call it sociotropy.
Can you tell us how to pronounce sociotropy?
Sociotropy sounds too weird to me. So he's saying that is behavior that comes out of fear of criticism or rejection. Like, if fawning is, my needs don't exist, I want what you want, master. Sociotropy is, they won't like me if I don't go along with this, so I'm going to go along with this.
This is where it becomes problematic, and this is often associated with women and trauma, where being in a situation where you are powerless, you feel that your best defense is because if you fight, you're crazy. If you flee, you're crazy. And so you just kind of keep smiling through whatever happens as if this is all fine. This is fine. You're the dog drinking the coffee in the flaming room. You know, it's like, it's not just, oh, poor you trying to get along and not bother anybody. This is a very strong response to being a powerless person in a dangerous situation. It's not like, what an idiot.
Right. It's a way to avoid conflict. This is how I'm going to keep myself safe through this uncomfortable situation.
Right. Which, I mean, every single person listening is nodding and being like, I've been in that situation where I thought I want to get out of this room or I want to kick this person in the nuts. But instead, I will oddly laugh and pretend that everything is fine.
I'm about to kick a hornet's nest right now, but
Kick it, Amy. Born to kick.
It's the Blake Lively video, which is like, is the dress blue or gold? The video that Justin, whoever, the guy on the other side of this, put out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, be happy. Be happy you don't know what I'm talking about. But Blake Lively,
do, unfortunately, know what she's talking about.
The star of the movie and the director are having a huge fight that's all over the news. And his side put out a video of them talking while they were shooting a scene of them dancing together closely. And his side thought this proves, see, she's being perfectly nice to him. Would somebody who was really being made uncomfortable with somebody behave this way that she's behaving in this video? And then other people looked at that video and like, Yes, I would behave exactly that way. I'm stuck in this situation with the creep and I want it to be over as soon as possible. So I'm going to be extra pleasant, even though I'm clearly uncomfortable. And people are looking at that video and seeing very, very different things. You probably see what you want to see, but this is the low stakes example of what we're talking about. Like your life isn't in danger, but you just want this to be over. And sometimes you smile even though you don't want to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's protective behavior. And then I think the problem is, if I could get to my soapbox thing here, the problem is that we mix all of this together. And when a woman realizes that she's taking on far too much at home, she's doing more than her share, and at work, and she's like, this doesn't work, that she's then told that she's been a people pleaser all along. And she needs to stop doing that. And which is the perfect thought terminating cliche solution for everybody else in this situation except her. Right? Her partner doesn't have to help around the house. Instead, she needs to stop being a people pleaser. Like, go fix that while nothing changes.
Right, right. It's on you to fix it. This is your problem. And also discounting to some degree the multitude. I think that's kind of what Me Too was about, was people saying, this has happened to every woman, and this is familiar to every woman, and this is not just behavior in a vacuum. This is behavior that comes out of situations. I teach a class, it's called personal presentation and public speaking. It's like a public speaking class basically, but the first part of the class is, how do you present yourself? Is that a useful way of presenting yourself? Like, you kind of have to break that down a little bit before you talk about how to work on it. And I teach a class that is very male. And it's interesting. Men tend to lead with anger and dominance, and women often try to communicate through like connection and getting what they want from a different point of view. And it's just, it happens for a reason. That's what's interesting about it. And having conversations around, why do we come at situations the way we do? I wish everybody on earth took classes like this, because it is really interesting to say, like, why is it so important for you to never be vulnerable and to be powerful in every situation as a man? And why is my instinct to come in as a female and make a connection that I then feel like I can work with? Super interesting.
Or make sure everybody thinks I'm cute, or make sure everybody thinks I'm super likable and go with the flow, right?
Yeah.
That Taylor Swift song, I'm me, I'm the problem, it's me. This is what I mean, right? That's like, oh, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. You're right, I have to go fix. LOL, I'm such a people pleaser. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for having a problem with the unfair distribution of how things are. I guess I will go fix myself. Sorry, I'm such a loser, everybody. And I just think there's so much of that content out there, and it's not, I think it's unfair. And then I've heard a bunch of times recently talking about this, I've heard the same joke from a bunch of different people. It's like, and the people aren't pleased. Like, that's what people pleasers need to understand. The people ain't so pleased. And I'm like, what does that mean? So thrown over the top, you're a bad person because the people aren't pleased. Also, they hate you.
Right.
Stop doing so much. We actually hate you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's when you were doing sitcom acting, right? You kept getting cast kind of in that, like, you're the annoying neighbor who comes in and is annoying to everyone. I was the annoying one, yeah. And it's like, right, there is this element of no one likes that person, but also everyone is benefiting from their labor. So
yeah, so I think it's about reframing what this is, because I'm not saying that there's not ever times when we do things we don't want to do because we think we have to. But it's not because you're a bad person. It's because, there are things that might be in play. Casey Davis, who hosts Struggle Care, friend of the pod, she said when I was on Struggle Care that this is really being overly responsible. She's like, how about if we call it, you're just overly responsible? I'm like, yeah, okay, I cop to that. I'm overly responsible.
But are you overly responsible? I mean, yeah, I think that you're responsible. It's just like, I want the acknowledgement that people are benefiting from your labor along with any critique of your behavior. That's where the disconnect is. Like,
that's a good point.
I'm not willing to cop to the overly part until we've acknowledged the labor that you are doing, right. Well, everyone's having a good time at the party, but God, Amy went crazy and everything's just so, and it's like, well, okay, but you're at the party. Like, you're sitting there having the signature cocktail. So I'm not that interested in your critique of the party while you're drinking the cocktail.
Very, very well said. That is so well said. All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about a new framework that I think is more useful. Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
At DSW, we ask the important questions, like, what shoes are you going to wear? Whether you're prepping for wedding season, festival season, or just planning the ultimate vacay, the right shoes can make or break an RSVP. So own the moment. You've got big plans, and we've got just the shoes. At the perfect price, of course. Get ready to get ready with Designer Shoe Warehouse. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today and let us surprise you.
So there's a psychotherapist named Gary Trosclair, and he introduced me to something I'd never heard of before, which is called demand sensitivity. And I read this, I'm like, oh, okay. Yes, this I can cop to. This I can understand is something that I might want to fix for myself. He says demand sensitivity is a psychological lens which magnifies in your imagination what other people insist you do. On a scale of 1 to 10, you might perceive that they're insisting on a 9 when they really just have a 3 in mind. And this is like the number system that Nick North and his wife have that we've talked about many times. I found the YouTube video and I'll put the link in the show notes, but explain that a little bit.
It's the idea that understanding when you make a demand, how important it is so that everything doesn't take on the same level. So I really want, let's say, the kids to wear jackets when it's cold, but that's like a 3 for me. If they refuse, we can agree that's not that important. But I really want us to have a family dinner every Sunday night. That's a 9 for me. That's really important to me because we end up I was just cleaning out my email inbox and it was funny. There was a million emails. I realized the word invitation was like, it was a lot of Google Meets. And I was like, okay, delete all the old Google Meets. So I was searching for that. But then I ended up in a little bit of a wormhole around the wedding planning. This is 15, 16 years ago now. And just looking back at my mom and my mother-in-law and different people kind of being like, hey, for the wedding this, hey, for the wedding that, who's babysitting the kids, and should I bring them and leave them at the hotel? Just a million different emails going back and forth. And I was like, I needed the Nick North system, because during your wedding, people are kind of like, oh, I think the bridesmaids would look great in yellow. And you're like, wait, what? We thought red. But that's just a throwaway comment from someone. It's not like I live and die because yellow was my mother's favorite color. And if we don't do it, I'll be heartbroken. This has always been my vision. And understanding that like not every demand has equal weight and people want different things in a situation. The other example of this is dishes on vacation. Like if we share a house with the family, you know? Some people on vacation want to like eat and like pile the sink full of dishes, and maybe at the end of the day we'll all do them. And some people are like, no, we have to keep the kitchen clean the whole
back to one the kitchen, right? Because it's going to overwhelm us, right?
And some of that, if you don't have a conversation about it ever, it just becomes one person angrily doing the dishes the whole time and being like, look at these lazy people. And it's like, well, the dishes for me on vacation are a 2 or a 1. Like I'd rather just eat and relax and then spend an hour and everybody puts music on and we clean up. But if it's a 9 for you, like I can't relax if the kitchen is dirty, then we're just on different pages, and neither one of us are bad people with terrible, issues. It's just we don't understand the level of importance that we're bringing to different situations.
And you don't have to agree. It isn't like, let's agree that it's a 5 of importance. It's just like, okay, this is a 9 to my mother-in-law or my brother or whatever. And so like, okay, I'll meet them because I understand that. But when you have demand sensitivity, which I think I kind of do, not that I'm assigning myself something bad. I just think I have this, when somebody mentions something, I'm immediately like, I see the list that's going to take me to execute it. And it's not always meant that way, but I perceive it.
That's it. Like the email about the bridesmaids' dresses is one of 4,000 thoughts of the day that someone had.
Right. They just dropped it. Right. And you're like.
But if you take everything as like, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to execute it? And sometimes people, they think, well, that's not important. It's like, well, I'm trying to make you happy. I'll give you the classic example of this. When I was a teenager, my grandmother was in her close to 90, and her sister was 92, and they lived together in an apartment. And every Sunday, I would take them to Mass and then take them to the International House of Pancakes. That was like my good deed. I was like polishing up my halo. I was a 17-year-old, like driving over, getting these 2 older women into the car to Mass, and then we would go to the International House of Pancakes. And I was like, what? I mean, I'm an angel, basically. Like, just straight track me to heaven. I'm the world's greatest person. And maybe 5 months into this, my grandmother said to my mother, God, Meg really loves the International House of Pancakes. She drags us there every week. She must love it. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm doing it for you. And she and her sister would have rather just gone home and eaten their oatmeal or whatever their tradition was. And somehow I was busy filling this role of the hero to a situation that just did not demand it at all.
Exactly. So I've come to understand this in my relationship. I had a recent example where we were deciding if we were going to get a Christmas tree for the year. And we're not in New York for Christmas. We leave to go be with our extended family. So that's one reason not to bother with a Christmas tree. The other reason was the book was about to come out. And so I was like, not this year. Let's just skip it this year. The kids don't care anyway, and I have too much going on. And my husband, I hear like a rustling downstairs. I come down and get more tea, and there's a tree in our house, and also, in a trail of pine needles, and every box in the world with the Christmas decorations has been dragged out of storage. And I see it, and in my head, I'm like, I can't believe I said I couldn't handle having a tree, and now there's a freaking tree, and I have to put aside everything I was going to do this afternoon because we have to decorate a tree I didn't want. And then I realized, because I've been thinking about this demand sensitivity thing, that this was a 9, basically it was a 9 to my husband that we have a Christmas tree, even though I was like, I can't deal with it. I'm going to go get it anyway. But not present in that was this like, and now I expect you to drop everything and decorate it. Like that part I was definitely like making up and bringing to it. I was pretty clear. It's not important to me. He didn't say, well, it is important to me, so I'm going to go get one. He just did it. But that did not involve me re-racking my entire afternoon to angrily decorate a tree. I just thought that it did. And so I did a little experiment, and I hid for the rest of the afternoon and did the stuff that I was going to do anyway. And I didn't change my plans. And the tree got, decorated well enough. And I realized that was the immediate resentment I felt that I am going to have to decorate this tree that I don't want to decorate was actually not there. It was something I was bringing to it.
Yeah, I think that's always a fair place to look, and that an ability, we talked to Tiffany Jenkins from Juggling the Jenkins and Take It or Leave It podcast about this. And she was talking about her anxiety that like when she is out with her kids, that she is like, she's scanning like the Terminator robot, the scene at all times to be like, that skateboarder could run into them, or there's water over there that they could run towards and fall in. And that is a very strong maternal instinct. And that her spouse would sort of be like, I just want to relax and enjoy the day. And that I think that there is a key there to understanding expectations. And that has come, like for me, the kids go tubing on the lake. I've realized I can't handle it. I cannot have my babies dragging behind a boat on a tube. I just spend the whole time like, do you see that boat that's 5,000 miles away that could speed up and come over here and hit them? Like, so you know what I do? I don't go on the tubing outing. I stay home and I read my book and I'm like, you guys have fun, because I'm a mismatch in that situation. And then I kind of make it unfun for everyone.
Here's how this can come into play in our parenting, is that this demand sensitivity with our kids. We expect, I'm talking about like older kids as they go into high school, and you hear back like, we're putting too much pressure on our kids. It's like, I'm not. I'm like, I am proud of them when they come home with a good report card and I tell them that I love you for who you are. Like, I think we all really try our best to not be complete tiger parents at all times. Anybody listening to this podcast, certainly. But you will hear back down the road that your kids felt pressure from you to be perfect. Even if what we're doing is just putting out that expectation, like, I know you're going to do great things. I'm so proud of you. Like your future's so bright, that you as a kid can read into that. There's expectations tied to that. And the kid's getting it twisted. You really are just saying like, I love you no matter what. But it can get twisted, and it doesn't really matter if you were actually pressured by your parents to be perfect. It matters that you felt that way. And then you grow up like everybody needs all this stuff from me all the time.
Talk about coming in hot, Amy. I'm not apologizing for that. I think it's a good thing. I think that kids are formed to some degree in resistance, and I don't think that meeting them where they are at all times is a good thing. Like, I think that I, to a large degree, defined myself in my teenage years, and even before that, in total opposition to my mother. I just rejected everything she stood for. And I was like, I'm not like this, and I'm not like you people. And my mom and I ended up having a really close relationship, but we had to go through this crucible. And I think that having like demands for your kids and expecting certain behaviors and then moving outside of that is not a negative thing.
I'm not, but it gets twisted because of psychology. And I'm not saying you should change what you're doing. I mean, I definitely grew up as one of these kids. Like, my parents wanted straight A's for me all the time. They never said that. It never came out of their mouth. But I was that kind of student. And then it somehow gets folded in like, everybody expects perfection from me, when they don't. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. And getting better at discerning when it's the message in your head telling you, now I have to drop everything to decorate the Christmas tree, even though I already said no. And when it's like, no, they're just going to do it anyway, and you can keep going about your afternoon. Nobody.
That's right. I think that the watch your story part of this is different than like, don't be a lame old people pleaser. But the times where, are you dragging two old ladies to IHOP because you somehow think that that's angelic behavior? You know, it just, that is such a metaphor for me sometimes of like, well, I guess I have to do it. And sometimes it doesn't always have to be you. And sometimes you have to also face a reckoning of, if not me, no one. And that is real. And I have something going on right now where people are asking me to do something, and there's a part of me that really wants to do it. And there's a part of me that really sees the value in it. And there's a part of me that says, I've set a boundary that I'm not going to do this anymore. And the reality is that no one will do it as well as I would do it.
That is so important. And it's something I've really tried to push back on when people say that the answer to people pleasing is, you'll see, you just stop overdoing and other people will step in. Like, not, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. And then you need to figure out, is it a loss to the world if nobody's taking your great aunt to IHOP? Or you need to do this work for yourself to figure out this is okay to let go and this really isn't okay to let go. They have to go to the doctor's appointment. Maybe they don't have to go to IHOP. Maybe they never wanted to go to IHOP. And you have to do that work for yourself because everybody's just going to keep letting you do a lot. You know what this is? It's the Martha complex. This is Gary Trosclair, and it comes from a story that I'll tell after this. But he says the Martha complex is if you're the kind of person who, if you're at work, you have to have inbox 0 every day. You have to, respond to every request within 3 minutes because your boss likes responses to be prompt, but your boss never said 3 minutes. And so you go through the day like whacking demands on the head and never having a sense of what's important to you, because everything that everybody asks you to do is equally important to everything else everybody has asked you to do.
Yeah, and I do think there is a fair element that I think we've all been guilty of, which is who grows the wolf you feed, like feeding the beast that is, I'll just be miserable and make everyone else happy. And that when you find yourself really deep in that story, it is worth examining. Like, I don't think that always has to be the only way things get done.
It's worth examining. I have a story I want to tell you. Let's take a break. And there's a very good example of this story that you might be familiar with.
Let's do it. Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. And now, who does your kid love more, you or Taylor Swift?
From the What Fresh Hell podcast,
you
has lovingly tended to their every need.
Taylor Swift.
Oh my God, her hair is so perfect, Mom.
Verdict?
Definitely Taylor Swift.
You
remembers every birthday and holiday and makes sure their day is magic.
Taylor Swift.
When she dances, it's cool and dorky at the same time.
Verdict?
T-Swift.
You
drives to every rehearsal and practice.
Taylor Swift.
No, nothing good starts in a getaway car.
Verdict?
Sorry, but I'm a Swiftie all the way.
You
offers tender counsel on school and personal problems.
Taylor Swift.
Have you ever heard the song Willow? No one understands me like Taylor.
Verdict?
Mom, if you can get me tickets to the tour, I'll consider a tie.
This has been Who Do Your Kids Love More, You or Taylor Swift?
From the What Fresh Hell podcast. So here's a little something from the New Testament. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I've read it.
Yeah. Anybody who's been to church has probably heard the story of Martha and Mary, if you're a Christian. And the story is that Jesus is in town. Martha and Mary are like, you should come over for dinner. And Jesus and his entourage of mostly dudes.
He goes with 12 guys wherever he's got to be. He's got at least 12 guys with him.
So surprise, they're all coming over for dinner. So they're at Martha and Mary's house and everybody's hanging out and Jesus is doing his thing and everybody's like, minds are blown. And Mary is just hanging out at his feet. It's Mary and Martha's house. Mary's just hanging out listening. Martha is burdened with much serving. That's what the story says. And she comes in and she says, Mary, hello, can you help me in the kitchen? Like, I'm out here by myself making dinner for everybody. And Jesus says, no, Martha, you are concerned with many things, but Mary has the better part and it will not be taken from her. And that's the end of the story.
And you're like, Jesus, I love you, guy, but I got a bone to pick with you.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick. And I always did, starting from when I was a child, because it's like, okay, but then no dinner? Are you saying that there you go again, Martha, making dinner for everybody and then asking people to help you? She doesn't have to help. She's here listening to me. And you want the story to be, come in, Martha. Like, it's okay. Dinner can wait an hour. Why don't you sit with us? Right? Instead, it's like, get out of here, Martha, with your complaining. Yeah.
Yeah, Martha.
Also, when's dinner ready? Right. Martha's so annoying is sort of the point of that story. And everybody should be like Mary. It's like, well, I know everybody should be like Mary, but then when do we eat?
Right. But you guys are hungry. Like, you're going to want food. And I've got to make a fire.
Yeah. And it's very hard to tease that out. I mean, so clearly it's been happening for at least 2,000 years that the person who is doing more than her share is like, can I get some help? And everybody's like, shut up, asking for help.
Martha. Also, where's dinner? We're starved.
Right. Just order pizza. Like, okay, so who's paying for dinner? And so I've always felt that story was, of course, written by a man who wasn't there. But that's what that story is supposed to show us is not, to me, what it actually shows me. But it's because I identify with the Martha in that story.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, as you should. And it's interesting. My sister and I, we used to, on Sundays, go to a place that served food for people. And I was always out visiting with people and being like, oh, tell me your story and what are you doing here? And just like chatting with people. And my sister was always making food and doing the dishes. And they used to call us Martha and Mary at that place. And it's true that we had different skill sets. And I don't know what the lesson is. It's just one of those things.
Well, I think it's like you're not always a jerk when you bring up, hey, why am I doing everything? Right? And everybody's like, stop people pleasing all the time. Like, there you go, worrying about nothing. That's not always a fair answer. And you don't have to accept that as like, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. That shouldn't be the end of that story. But it's not never true that you're like, here I go, taking my aunt to IHOP every week, even though I don't want to, and nobody asked you. Like, there are times when it does come into play. So how do you know? So how do you know when you're people pleasing or when you're tipped into, what do I want to say, like demand sensitivity, we'll call it, and when you need to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that's it. How do you know? Which one is which? I don't know, as it turns out.
Well, the presence of resentment, I'm quoting, I think the number one difference is the presence of resentment.
Yes.
That's when you know that this is tipped over into something. That's people pleasing. I think when people say people pleasing, they presume something that's not always there, which is your sister in the kitchen doing dishes and being like, I hate my sister who gets to have the fun mom. Like, that would be people pleasing behavior, as we like to call it. On the other hand, your sister might be in the kitchen doing the dishes thinking like, I'm introverted, this is my contribution, and Margaret can talk to anyone, and thank God for her, right? Like, that actually might be what's going on.
Right.
And if that's the case, then there's no people pleasing involved. That is just two people being altruistic and playing to their strengths.
Right. Knowing their skills.
Right. There's no world in which we want the people who do so much for the people around us to stop doing those things. We need that. We shouldn't be pejorative about that. We should be supportive of the people who help and make sure that it's reciprocated. But it's also not on us to make sure that the person who seems like they have it all together is okay. You know what I mean? That's also been a response I've gotten, like, oh, when you're going through something, we're supposed to know when the people around us who do too much are having a hard time and ask them. I'm like, I don't think I'm saying you should read minds. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Martha should come out of the kitchen and say, hey, I need some help in here. When everybody says, there you go again, she'd be like, no. Are we holding dinner off for an hour, or can I get some help? And it doesn't have to be, of course, in that story, the other problem is who's going to go help her in the kitchen? One person, Mary.
Only Mary.
Only Mary, right?
Jesus
Everybody
is
in the
hanging
room
with the boys.
right? I mean, Jesus, I get, but like,
I don't. I'm sorry.
Andrew the fisherman.
You can turn water into wine, make some dinner, my dude.
That's the other thing. I mean, knowing what we know, and Martha probably didn't, is he could have like snapped his fingers and been like, here's dinner for everybody. Martha, it's fine. You know.
Yeah, I do think that this is something where if you can back up the conversation. I remember once my mom had some sort of surgery, abdominal surgery, and Easter was coming. And it was clear she was not well enough to make Easter dinner, but she did make Easter dinner. And I could just picture her hunched over with like a giant lamb shuffling towards the oven. And my reaction was kind of like, what a dumbo. Like, why don't we just order pizza? Nobody cares about this dinner. But that's the wrong instinct. It is more the Nick North thing of like, what is important to you? What is it important to you that Easter looks like? And who can help with what to make that happen? Because I do want the house to be completely festooned at Christmas time. And I don't trust other people to do it correctly. Like I do know that the boot has to be filled with little candy canes and little red and white confetti. That's how the boot goes. And I want it done that way. That's part of the magic for me, is having everything just so. And I do want it nice. So if it came to like, okay, I am not able to participate, but I want it done right. These are important to me. And I think that the conversation becomes, how do we work together towards this? How do we get all on the same side of the net? And I probably get to define what side of the net we're on, because it is important. Like, I don't want pizza on Easter. That doesn't work for me fundamentally. And that's a valid choice.
Yeah. And so, right. So it isn't like we can have pizza because nobody else cares, or I can do this all myself, right? There is a third choice there. This is really important to me. And if you're focusing on your own desires, then that can't be people-pleasing behavior, or whatever the lousy name you want to use for it. If you're decorating your house for Christmas and you want it just so because it's like a 9 out of 10 for you, 9.99, and you get joy from doing it, and the people around you get joy from it, then like, perfect, right? Keep going. No notes.
Yeah, and people should respect that. We just had this at Christmas time. My in-laws were doing a big Christmas Eve dinner. I always grew up doing a big Christmas night dinner. And so my brother-in-law is a chef, and he made a beautiful, really elaborate feast for Christmas Eve. And it was beef Wellington, and it was like done and done. It was beautiful. And then I think everyone was kind of like, well, for Christmas dinner, we can just like get taken Chinese, whatever, like that we've already had the big meal. And I was sort of like, I'm going to not feel great about that. So I realize I'm going to take on a lot of the work of making that second meal. But can we decide on a meal? We ended up deep frying a turkey because my husband likes to fry the turkey. And I'm like, let's just figure out a plan. And this is why it's important to me. And I think sometimes we do skip that step of, this is valid and this is important to me. And like, maybe it's, I want all the kids spick and span and dressed in matching vests and bow ties for Easter pictures. And could we just roll in, you know, on Christmas this year, I cooked all day. I think I stayed in my pajamas. I think I had dinner in my pajamas. That didn't happen to be important to me. Now, I know from my mother, people coming to Christmas dinner in pajamas would have really bothered her. It was important that people be dressed nicely.
They dress up for the 6 hours you spent in the kitchen, right? That it's a special day, right?
So I think the idea is like putting yourself in the people you're going to please, you know, that like, I want this way. I don't care if it's not important to anybody else, that everybody is in dirty sweats at the meal. If it's really important to my mom or my mother-in-law or Aunt Joan that we're all looking nice, I think we respect Aunt Joan enough to make that effort.
Yeah. So I'm realizing the number system of how important things are. For me, as somebody who's sensitive to demands, is sometimes the demand that's being asked of me is a 0 or it's a 3 out of 10. That if my spouse is like, you know, I've always wanted to go to Disney World with all the kids, that's not like 10 out of 10, Amy, make it happen. Or, you know, that's sometimes people just say stuff.
A lot of times, wow, looking through those wedding things, I was like, wow, a lot of people said a lot of things. And I took them all as like, put it on the cart. I guess I'll just keep wheeling it. Just keep throwing stuff on. I can do it. And people were literally walking by and throwing something on and never thinking about it again, and they would have been totally fine if I just took it out of the cart.
Right.
You know, they didn't care.
Right. They said it and that was the end of it. And I'm the one who carries that around for 6 months. And then the flip side of that is also the number system for yourself. Like, it's okay to be the one who says, everybody's putting on a collared shirt for dinner because I've been working on this dinner for 3 days. It's Easter. It's special. It's really important to me. So we're going to do this, and not accept the there you go again if it's something that it's important to you. Everything can't be a 10 out of 10 for you or the people around you, but it's okay to start to put that lens on for other people. And then you're right, also for yourself, like, this is really important to me. I'm not going to take, oh, there you go again, or you just need to change your mindset. If it's, no, we always had. The staircase always had real pine leaves around it or whatever. That's what we're going to do. And I know it's more of a hassle, but it's really important to me. And to feel good about that. And when you're taking your own needs into consideration and you're not assuming that the requests of everybody around you are always a 10 out of 10, then I think this is a much more easy way to balance all this out. That doesn't come in, fix your personality flaws, you loser.
Absolutely. And I think that where you find people, you can sense it, that unhappiness and that misery that creeps in around stuff. That's a good, Lynetta Willis talked about that, stable misery. I think about that phrase all the time, that like, I guess I'll just keep cleaning up for everyone, or I guess I'll make it nice. I guess, oh, you want your parents to come? Great, then I'll change all the sheets. Like, when you find yourself in that miserable place, your first instinct should be, how do we fix this? Not, this is just my destiny because I'm here. I was put on earth to please everyone.
And if there's something that brings you joy, that's altruistic, that makes other people's lives better, and you love doing it, then keep doing it, right? That there's no, and don't let people say like, oh, there you go again, helping everybody all the time, and the other people aren't so pleased. Like, yeah, they are actually. And you make the world go round, and don't do that when it doesn't serve you, but don't work hard to make other people's lives better and then also take on, like, I'm such an idiot that I do this work. It's hard and it's worthwhile.
We solved it, but more importantly, Amy solved it in her book, Happy to Help, Adventures of a People Pleaser. Essays out now, wherever books are sold, available on audio, read by the author.
That's right. If you're an audiobook person, which you probably are, if you're a podcast person, I read it. It was so fun. That might have been more exciting than anything else. Like, I'm reading the audiobook. It felt very exciting.
I read the book and then I listened to it on audio, and I enjoyed both experiences. But the audio, I got to shout out the audio. I was laughing out loud listening to it, and it's great. It's really great. Check it out. Especially the chapter on skiing is extremely funny, the way Amy reads it. Really, really good.
That's called Never Give Up.
Happy to Help. Available everywhere books are sold, friends.
And with that, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening.